to Mocha with Mom. Hi, I'm Jackie Walker, and this is my mother,
Linda Nye.
So, what does that mean? We're just gonna have conversations about whatever. All right, so the next question is, what were some highlights from your teen years?
Well, Motown was hot.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, Motown was popping out new artists every week.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, during that time, we were playing records on record players. And there was always a 45, which is the single record that came out before the album. And so one good thing is that my mom would every Friday buy us the new 45 that came out that week. And so, James Brown and Marvin Gaye and all of those, the popular people, we always got, those records. And we weren't allowed, my sister and I were teenagers, we weren't allowed to go to parties or to anyone else's house, but my mom would let us have a lawn party every Friday. So we would get to, showcase our new records, our new 45s that we got. And so that was a highlight of during that time. As far as movie stars is concerned during that time, I can remember not movie stars, but one of the favorite famous people during that time was Twiggy, because I was super skinny. They call me Skinny Minnie all the time. So that was not a compliment. As a matter of fact, it was a derogatory thing in my life from elementary school all the way through high school until Twiggy. I loved Twiggy. He was a person who was a matchstick just like me. I even cut my hair in a bob like hers. And I made sure I had every piece of clothing that Twiggy displayed in the magazines, because she was my icon. She was the one who helped me with my self-esteem, because before that time I really felt bad about who I was.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun, of the parties in the yard.
Yeah, we would have parties.
Now people call those kickbacks.
We call them lawn parties during that time.
So for me, highlights from my teens. For me, the highlight was participating in sports, high school activities. I was in a couple of clubs. Oh, the biggest highlight was we had this group called the Top 10. Me and my best friend and her sister and her other best friend and her sister and then a couple of other girls. We all got together because during the time when I was in high school, it was all about not necessarily having cliques, but having these little girl clubs and these little guy clubs. So you would get your group of friends together, you would come up with your club name, and you would put it on your sweatshirt and your t-shirt, and y'all walk around with your shirts on alike, and then you would dress alike on certain days and things like that. We really didn't do anything outside of dressing alike and hanging out with one another. So it wasn't like we were doing things. But so we had a group called Top 10, and we had our, it said digital display, because back then digital clocks were a big thing. So it said digital display, and then we had Top 10 on the back, and then we had our number, and I was number 10, of course, because I was the tallest one. But so we had a lot of fun, and I have lots of pictures from back in the day, and I will display some of those so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But we hung out with this guy group called the Rugby Club, and they wore rugby shirts and had numbers on them. So, and to this day, I am still friends with the guys in that group and a couple of girls that were in my group. So we just had a lot of fun. It was just a matter of association, being associated with one another. But like I said, sports were pretty big for me, going to the games. I had a boyfriend who played football, so I was always at the football games. You know, I was the little girlfriend that hung around after the game waiting for my boyfriend. I participated in future Future Teachers of America. I had no plans of being a teacher. But ironically, I am a teacher. When I look back at those pictures, and I'm like, I was in Future Teachers of America. And I was in that because somebody said it was fun, that they went on field trips. And we did. We went on a field trip to Texas A&M Commerce. We went to Austin. So we did go on field trips. But that's the only reason why I joined. Me and my best friend, my best friend Jonathan, we joined the Future Teachers of America so that we can go on field trips and have fun with a couple of our friends. So now I can tell you one of my highlights, and my mama, is probably not a highlight to her, but it's a highlight for me. Me and my friends in my senior year, my mom used to travel all the time with her job. And she had a Berlinetta Camaro. And it was burnt orange. And then it had this design on the bottom that, what we call that? Ombre design on the bottom that went from burnt orange to brown. It was really nice. I don't know if we might have a picture of it.
It was brand new.
It was new. But what my mama did was moved me. We lived in Oak Cliff, and in high school, that was the only school that I went to more than 1 year. Every year from kindergarten to 8th grade, I went to a different school every year. So when I got in high school, my mom said, I'm not gonna make you go to different high schools. You'll be able to stay at the same high school for, the 4 years. I'm like, okay. So we lived in Oak Cliff. I went to Kimball, and I had been at Kimball for 3 years. And my mother decides to move to Carrollton, which is far north Dallas, on the other side of far north Dallas. If y'all not from this area, it's a long way away. Okay, let's say it's probably about a 40-minute drive from Kimball to Carrollton. And so she moved in the summer before my senior year. And so I was not about to transfer schools. And so she said, okay, well, you can stay at Kimball. Well, the car that she had gotten for me was old Monte Carlo. It was like a 1976, wasn't it? It was 10 years old. Okay, and it was cool. I mean, but she wanted me to have reliable transportation, so she let me drive the Camaro to school. And since we were just around the corner from her job, she drove the Monte Carlo to work. All right, so my mom used to travel a lot. And me and my friends always went to the basketball games and stuff like that. So our basketball team made it to the state tournament. And we wanted to go and see them, of course. And we didn't ride the fan bus. And so we were like, we can drive down there. But one of the stipulations that my mom had said was, you can go, but you cannot take the Camaro. I was like, okay. So I had planned to take the Camaro all along. I'm like, she's in California. How is she gonna know that I drove the Camaro to Austin from Dallas? And so me and my friends, it was me and 3 guys, and they were my 3 friends from the rugby club. So it was no boyfriends or anything involved. It was just 3 like brothers. And we drove down there to Austin, had a great time, watched the games and everything, and then came back. And when my mama got back in town, she's like, did you take the car to Austin? I was like, no. She's like, well, what did you say?
I said, give me the keys.
That's not what you said. She's like, well, somebody said they saw you in Austin. And I was like, dang, in my mind, I thought I can't tell a lie. If somebody saw me, because she pinpointed like where they saw me. And so I had to tell the truth and said, yes, took the car to Austin. So then she said,
give me the keys?
Yes. So she said, you're just gonna have to drive the Monte Carlo. And so I did. And the Monte Carlo, it worked. but of course it wasn't the Camaro. And let me tell you, but we had some fun in Monte Carlo. Me and my friends drove in Monte Carlo to death. And when I say to death, the muffler fell off of it, getting onto the highway. I mean, it was just all sorts of stuff that we went through. It was fun. I got a laugh out of it, but
it died.
It eventually died. I mean, it lasted through my high school year, and it died on us. So that was really a highlight from my high school days.
The highlight was she realized that she could not keep anything from me, because I always told her that don't ever lie to me, because I will find out. It might not be on the same day, but I will find out.
She sure did say that. And she sure did find out. And I was so curious, like, as to how did she find out that I had driven the car to Austin? Well, not only did we drive the car to Austin, but we parked on the corner at UT Austin, where the basketball games and stuff were going on. We parked on the corner and we were yelling and screaming at the school buses as they came through, waiting for our school bus to come through so we can wave to our cheerleaders and our basketball team and everything like that. Well, it's not very many. I don't even know if there is another Camaro that looks like hers.
Was not.
I mean, there were burnt orange Camaros, but there were not any that had the ombre at the bottom of it. So, because we were on the main corner in Austin, cheering all the basketball teams and buses that passed by, her co-worker that sold her the Monte Carlo was there for the games as well, because everybody goes to the state games just to spectate, right? So he was there and said, what did he say to you?
He said, I saw you in Austin, and you wouldn't even speak to me. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I know it was you because I know your car. And I passed by and I honked at you and waved at you, and you didn't pay me any attention. And I said, oh, okay, my apologies.
So that's how she knew, because her coworker said, hey, I saw you, when he actually really saw me and my friends. So that's how I got busted.
Yeah.
So that's when I truly learned that, you know what, you may get away with something eventually, but it's gonna come back to bite you.
Right.
It's gonna come back to bite you eventually. So yeah, I've always felt like I've had this hawk eye on me, overseeing everything that I do.